Dear child, you almost scrolled past this with your jaw tight, and your mind already halfway into the next distraction. The room is not loud, but your thoughts are. Your body is tired, yet your heart refuses to settle. You have been carrying too much through too many ordinary hours, and now even stillness feels difficult to bear. Part of you wants comfort. Part of you wants to run. Part of you does not know what would actually help anymore. So here you are, dear heart, hovering between weariness and one more attempt to outpace what you feel. Stay here a moment, not because you owe me something, not because I am counting how long you can focus, not because silence has to become a test. Just for a little while, beloved. Just long enough for your nervous system to notice it does not have to fight right now. You have been bracing all day, bracing for the message, bracing for the memory, bracing for what might go wrong next. Even when no one could tell, you were holding yourself together with more effort than anyone around you realized. Precious one, that kind of strain does not disappear the moment the day gets quiet. It lingers in the shoulders. It lingers in the chest. It lingers in the thoughts that keep circling the same fears. You wonder why you cannot simply calm down, why rest feels so far away, why your heart keeps acting as if danger is still at the door. And then you judge yourself for it. You call yourself dramatic, fragile, too much, too sensitive. But I know what has worn you thin. I know the disappointments you acted as though you were fine with. I know the little cuts that never got named. I know the private pressure to keep functioning even while something inside you has been asking for gentleness. So no, loved one, I am not asking you to become instantly peaceful. I am asking you to stop fleeing yourself for a moment. You do not need to solve your whole life in the next 2 minutes. You do not need to untangle every fear before you are allowed a little softness. You do not need a better explanation for why you are tired. This moment can simply be a pause. A small, honest pause where you stop demanding that your heart perform. My child, I am not impatient with your fatigue. I am not looking at you the way you have been looking at yourself, with criticism, with exasperation, with the sense that you should be past this by now. I look at you with steady affection. I look at the version of you that keeps trying even when it feels hidden beneath all this heaviness. I look at the courage it took just to make it here tonight, to this quiet little opening you almost skipped. Do not underestimate the weight you have been carrying. Some burdens make no sound, yet they pull at every thought. The unanswered things, the strained relationship, the fear about money, the ache of being needed by everyone and deeply understood by almost no one. The way you can be surrounded and still feel strangely unheld. Sweet soul, that loneliness has been talking to you. It has been telling you to keep moving, to keep distracting yourself, to keep numbing the edge. Because if you stop, you might feel the ache more clearly. But the ache is already there. Running has not removed it. Noise has not healed it. Speed has not made it smaller. Come closer for a breath of quiet. Just this. Just now. You do not have to arrive as a polished person. You do not have to sound spiritual. You do not have to force tears or produce perfect words. You can be exactly as you are, scattered, numb, restless, sad in ways you cannot fully explain. Dear one, I know how often you have tried to appear stronger than you actually felt. You learned to keep your face steady. You learned to answer, "I'm okay." You learned to keep moving so nobody would ask the deeper question. And after a while even you stopped asking it. What hurts? What is exhausting you? What fear keeps knocking after the lights are out? So I am asking gently now, not to expose you, not to pressure you, simply to make room for what has been unattended. What is it tonight, beloved? Is it disappointment? Is it uncertainty? Is it the ache of wanting someone to choose you with tenderness? Is it the quiet embarrassment of how deeply affected you still are by something that happened long ago? Is it the weariness of always being the one who copes? Whatever it is, you do not have to push it down to remain welcome here. You can set it down beside us without needing to explain every edge of it. A heavy heart does not need a perfect speech. It needs a safe place to stop pretending. That is what this moment is. Not a demand, not a performance, not a lesson you must master before dawn arrives. Just a place where I can draw near to the part of you that has been trying not to need too much. But you do need care. You do need rest. You do need a steadier center than the one this world keeps offering. There is nothing shameful in that. My dear one, you were not made to live constantly tightened inside. You were not built to carry every fear without somewhere to lay it down. You were not designed to become your own shelter through sheer effort. That is why I call to you. Not because I need your attention to feel important. Because you need a place where your soul can unclench. Somewhere beneath the noise you know this. You know you cannot keep living like a wire pulled too tight. You know the constant rushing is not the same as peace. You know the constant input is not the same as comfort. You know the constant proving is not the same as being loved. So stay here, precious one, for these few simple moments. Let them be small. Let them be plain. Let them be enough for right now. You have been thinking that healing must be dramatic to be real, that comfort must arrive like a sudden flood or it does not count. But often it comes quietly. A little less fear in the chest, a little more room in the mind, a little more honesty about what you need. Sometimes mercy enters like a doorway left open in a house that had grown stuffy and dim. Nothing shouts, nothing forces itself, yet the air changes. The room becomes bearable again. That is how I am meeting you now, not with pressure, not with spectacle, with a clearing, with space. You may not feel transformed all at once, but you can feel less alone inside your own thoughts. That matters. Loved one, your life has not become too tangled for my tenderness. Your mind has not become too noisy for my calm to reach. Your habits of overthinking, your quickness to worry, your tired reflex to expect disappointment, none of these have pushed me away. I have been near through the whole restless day, through the strained conversation, through the fake smile, through the endless checking of your phone, through the sigh you let out when nobody was there to hear it. I have not been absent from the places you felt most frayed, and I am not withholding peace until you become better at being serene. Peace begins when you stop negotiating with every anxious thought and simply turn your face toward something steadier. Turn it here for a moment, toward my voice, toward my nearness, toward the quiet truth that you are deeply held even while you still feel unsettled. Beloved, you keep trying to think your way into safety. You gather scenarios. You rehearse conversations. You revisit old wounds as if reliving them might somehow protect you from more pain. But the mind was never meant to be your only refuge. It grows tired in that role. It becomes harsh. It starts mistaking vigilance for wisdom. You have seen that happen. How tired thoughts can turn against you. How quickly concern becomes accusation. One fear says, "What if it all falls apart?" Another says, "You should have been stronger by now." Another whispers, "Nobody would really stay if they knew how tired you are inside." Not every voice in you speaks truth. So listen carefully now, dear heart. You are not failing because you need a pause. You are not weak because your heart needs comfort. You are not losing ground because you are finally admitting you cannot sustain yourself on pressure alone. This honesty is not collapse. It is wisdom beginning to soften your grip. There is no prize for being merciless with yourself. There is no healing in talking to your own soul as if it were an enemy to conquer. The tenderness you keep offering others must also be allowed to reach inward. Yes, you are responsible for your choices. Yes, some things must be faced clearly. Yes, some patterns in you need to be named with honesty. But honesty without compassion becomes another wound. And I am not here to wound you into wholeness. I am here to steady you into it. My child, this is why I ask you to remain for even a small stretch of time. Because your heart needs reminding that safety can exist without hurry. That being still does not mean being abandoned with your worst thoughts. That quiet does not have to become a courtroom. That rest is not laziness when your inner life has been overworked for too long. Maybe no one has told you that lately. Maybe your worth has been measured by output, helpfulness, availability, how well you keep it together. But I am speaking to the deeper part of you now. The part that is worn out from always being useful. The part that longs to be cherished without first proving something. The part that does not need advice first, only steadiness. Come into that steadiness. No striving, no bargaining, no rushed promises about how tomorrow will be different. Just this one honest minute becoming the next. Just this simple consent to remain where love can reach you. I know that sounds almost too small. You have been trained to look for large solutions, huge breakthroughs, immediate certainty. But small moments shape a life more than you realize. A small pause can interrupt panic. A small truth can loosen shame. A small act of staying can teach the heart that it does not always have to bolt when emotions rise. That matters deeply. Precious one, there are parts of you that still expect rejection the moment you become inconvenient, messy, quiet, or needy. So you move quickly. You apologize too soon. You over-explain. You hide your tiredness under politeness and competence. But you do not need to protect yourself from me that way. I am not irritated by your humanity. I am not wearied by the very heart I made. When you are scattered, I do not roll my eyes. When you are anxious, I do not move farther away. When you do not have language for what hurts, I am not confused by your silence. I understand the unfinished sentence. I understand the ache behind the shrug. I understand the tears you keep postponing. Loved one, you do not have to become more impressive to be met with affection here. Stay in that truth for another moment. Let it settle lower than your thoughts. Let it touch the places that still brace for withdrawal, for coldness, for disappointment. I am gentler than the voices that have shaped your fear. I am steadier than the people who loved you inconsistently. I am kinder than the standards you use to punish yourself. And because I am kind, I will not flatter what harms you. I will not call constant inner chaos a noble way to live. I will not tell you that running on empty is the same as strength. You need rest that is real. You need truth that does not bruise. You need room to be human without becoming lost. That is what I am making inside this quiet. Sweet soul, you may notice that nothing outside has changed yet. The unanswered problem remains. The uncertain future remains. The difficult person remains difficult. The decision still waits. And yet something in you can begin to loosen before circumstances do. That is not denial. That is grace working beneath the surface. Not every answer arrives first. Sometimes calm arrives first. Sometimes steadiness arrives first. Sometimes the heart is strengthened before the path becomes clear. That is enough for now. You do not need all the light for next month. You only need enough to stop panicking in this moment. Enough to remember that fear is not your ruler. Enough to remember that exhaustion is not your identity. Enough to remember that tenderness has not passed you by. Beloved, I know you have been afraid that if you stop moving, everything you have postponed feeling will finally catch you. Maybe some of it will. A little sadness, a little grief, a little truth about how stretched thin you really are. But truth is not your enemy. What is named gently can be carried differently. What is felt honestly can begin to heal. You are safer with truth than with constant avoidance. Not because truth is easy, because it makes room for real comfort instead of temporary escape. And I want real comfort for you. The kind that does not vanish the moment the screen goes dark. The kind that does not depend on perfect conditions. The kind that can sit beside pain without being swallowed by it. Dear heart, let these moments be less about effort and more about consent. A soft yes to being held. A soft yes to not fixing everything tonight. A soft yes to quiet that does not accuse. Only once will I say it this way. Stay, stay, stay. Not forever in this exact minute. Not trapped. Not pressed down. Just long enough for your soul to learn that presence can be safe. My dear one, this is not wasted time. This is restoration at a pace your heart can bear. The world teaches you to measure value by speed and output, but some of the deepest healing happens in unremarkable moments no one else sees. A quiet sitting, a less defended heart, a few seconds without rehearsing disaster, a little trust in goodness even before proof arrives. These are not small to me. They are the tender beginnings of a steadier inner life. And from that steadier place you will think more clearly. You will choose more wisely. You will hear more truly what belongs to fear and what belongs to peace. Not because you forced yourself into perfection, but because you practiced remaining where love could calm you. Precious one, the life ahead of you does not have to be lived at the mercy of every inner storm. There can be a new rhythm, a slower center, a clearer way of meeting your own thoughts, a gentler strength. This can grow in you, not all at once, not by pressure, but by repeated returning to what is steady when everything else feels loud. So if all you have tonight is one quiet minute and then another, that is enough to begin. If all you can offer is a tired heart and a willingness not to run, that is enough for this moment. If all you can manage is to lean into stillness without knowing what comes next, that too is precious. Loved one, you do not need to fear that I will disappear the moment your attention wanders. When your thoughts drift, I remain. When your feelings change, I remain. When you are unsure whether you are doing this right, I remain. My child, I am not measuring how beautifully you sit in silence. I am caring for you inside it. So rest a little more deeply now, not because life is simple, not because the ache was imaginary, not because every burden has been lifted in one tender sitting. Rest because you have been met. Rest because your heart does not have to keep standing guard every second of the night. Rest because even now, beneath the thoughts still moving, something quieter is forming, a steadier pulse, a softer inner room, a little more confidence that you are held by love strong enough to outlast your fear. Let the next moment come slowly. Let the next thought pass without owning you. Let your shoulders ease without asking permission from worry. I am near in this small calm. Like the first pale line of dawn appearing at the edge of a long night, I do not rush the sky. I simply stay until light begins to return. So remain here as long as your heart needs. No spectacle, no strain, no pressure to become anything other than honest and still. I will keep watch over this quiet with you. And when you rise again to face what waits, you will not be carrying only your fear. You will carry the memory of this nearness, the hush of this pause, and the gentle knowing that you can return here again. For now, dear heart, rest in this little clearing. I have not moved away. I have not lost patience. I have not missed your weariness. I am here in the unforced silence, and I remain here as your breathing slows and the night grows less heavy. Amen. Beloved family, this ministry is built on faith, dedication, and prayer. We remain committed to sharing these messages with sincerity. If you feel led to stand with us, you will find the support link in the description and in the comment box below. May the Lord bless you always.